let's talk about Darron Lee, traded from the Jets to the Kansas City Chiefs. How do you feel about this move?
Shortly after our show.
About 15 minutes after they fired former GM Maccagnan. Mike Maccagnan. I forgot his first name. They fire him, and then Adam Gase gets the keys to the Ferrari, and he says, you know what? We don't need the back seat. Goodbye, Darron Lee. Goodbye, former first-round pick. I'm trading you for a 2026-round pick. Kind of a shock. When I see this, man, I look at it, and I sit there and say, you kind of sold a guy. At the beginning, I was like, the Jets made a mistake. They absolutely kind of overjumped themselves. But, in light of recent events, I kind of want to disagree. I want to sit there and say he's going into the final year of his contract.
They did not take his fifth option.
They did not take his fifth-year option as a first-round pick. So he's going to be a free agent next year regardless.
Right.
Is it better to get a sixth-round pick out of him now if you don't think he's going to play with C.J. Mosley and Avery Williamson in front of him?
Well, we talked about it.
Or would you rather wait?
We talked about it. Me and you off the camera and on the camera, he's going to find a hard time finding time in this linebacking core. There's too many inside linebackers, and if that's the position he's going to play, he's going to have a hard time finding it with C.J. Mosley and Williamson. And I know we also talked about this a little bit before the show as well. I think it's misuse. If you look at the first 2 years, as he was coming out of Ohio State going, he didn't say this, but all the experts said he is a coverage linebacker. He's that guy that you want there on third down and long. He's the guy that can cover that tight end or that slot receiver if need be, and he has the speed to keep up with them, and there's no doubt about it. This guy's a very fast linebacker. He's undersized. A lot of people knock him for that. But he didn't do much of that. Even though he was covering, a lot of his plays were pass rush. He got like 4 sacks in 2 seasons. And then finally last year when they're like, hey, we need you to cover some of these people, he had 3 interceptions.
Do you know why they said that?
1 for a touchdown, and he had quite a few pass deflects that he did not have the first 2 seasons.
Do you know why they said that? Because they signed Avery Williamson, and they're like, this dude can't cover anybody. So, yeah, absolutely. They looked at Darron Lee and said, well, we know he's not covering anybody. We need you to do it. So they kind of utilized him a little bit better. I'm totally with you. If you look at it, year 3 for his contract has been the best of his career. If you use this guy right, if you drop him back into coverage, he 100% could be a good player for anyone's team. And that's why I credit the Chiefs for picking him up. A 6th-round pick is a pretty cheap price for a guy that used to be a first-rounder, especially only 3 years into his career. If I'm Andy Reid or if I'm anyone on the Chiefs organization, I'm sitting there saying, we can use this guy, and if he works out, that's fantastic. If not, he's a free agent anyway. We don't owe him any money after this. And all of a sudden, your linebacking core has some depth, it has some competition, and you have potential to have a high-level starter here.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's going to come into as a rotational piece. He is not going to be a starter. I highly doubt he's going to beat Anthony Hitchens out of the starting role, but a guy that can come in there and kind of be that guy that can cover, because everyone knows the third down is the most important down for a linebacker. Well, mostly for all positions, but definitely a linebacker, because that's when you see the guys that can't cover come out and the guys that can cover stay in. And when Anthony Hitchens is sitting there, who is a jack of all trades in the linebacking core for the Chiefs, if he's winded, when you get Darron Lee to come in there to cover some of these tight ends or slot receivers, this is a guy that can come in and make a difference.
Absolutely, and for a defense that was absolutely atrocious last year, any kind of piece you can add to it, I'm calling it a plus. Even if the guy doesn't make it through training camp, you've still sat there and got better because you were willing to take a chance. And I'm okay with that. This is a calculated risk, and one that, if it pays off, fantastic. You're the better football team. If it doesn't, you didn't spend much, and that's perfectly okay too.
Right.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, make sure you subscribe to our page here and throw us a like if you don't mind.
Guys, remember this is Sports Around the Bar, so grab your favorite drinks, join one of the fastest growing communities on YouTube. We can't wait to hear from you.